Welcome back my YouTube channel, Old Coin Z Collection. Today, we're diving deep into the story of this coin, 1973 United States 1-cent Lincoln Memorial coin, a humble penny with a legacy that stretches back more than a century. At first glance, it may look like just another small copper coin, but what lies beneath is a fascinating journey through American history, craftsmanship, and even the potential for rare fortune. The Lincoln cent has been in circulation since 1909, originally designed by Victor David Brenner to honor the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person's image, breaking with the tradition of symbolic figures like Lady Liberty. The front, or obverse, of the coin featured Lincoln's right-facing portrait, which still remains today. Fast forward to 1959, when the reverse of the coin changed to feature the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. This change marked Lincoln's 150th birthday and replaced the original wheat stalk design. The new reverse was designed by Frank Gasparro, who later became the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint. From 1959 until 2008, the Lincoln Memorial graced the reverse side, including the 1973 issue. The 1973 Lincoln cent continued this design tradition. It was struck at three mints: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, marked with a D; and San Francisco, marked with an S. The Philadelphia and Denver mints produced coins for circulation, while the San Francisco mint focused mostly on proof coins, highly polished pieces intended for collectors. Now, let's take a closer look at the coin itself. The obverse of the 1973 Lincoln cent features the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, along with the inscriptions "In God We Trust" above his head, "Liberty" to the left, and the date, 1973, to the right. If the coin has a mint mark, it will appear just under the date. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial stands proud and detailed. If you look closely, you can even see a tiny representation of the seated Lincoln statue inside the memorial. An impressive detail considering the coin size. Above the memorial, the words "United States of America" are inscribed, while 1 cent is placed below. The national motto, "E Pluribus Unum," is centered above the building. In terms of composition, the 1973 penny is made primarily of copper. It consists of 95% copper and 5% zinc, weighing 3.11 grams. This composition remained standard until 1982, when the U.S. Mint changed to a mostly zinc core due to rising copper prices. So, all 1973 Lincoln cents are true copper coins, a fact that adds to their collector appeal. Now let's talk numbers. In 1973, the Philadelphia Mint struck over 3.7 billion pennies. The Denver Mint produced slightly more than 3.5 billion, and the San Francisco Mint created around 2.7 million proof coins. Because of these high mintages, most 1973 cents are not considered rare. They still turn up in pocket change today and are common in coin jars across the country. However, condition is everything in the coin world. A 1973 Lincoln cent in uncirculated or mint state condition is significantly more valuable than a worn example. Collectors often seek coins graded MS 65 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. Proof coins from San Francisco are also popular with collectors, especially when preserved in their original proof sets. Now, here comes the exciting part: value. While a typical 1973 penny in circulated condition is worth only its face value, and even uncirculated coins often sell for under $1, rare error versions and extremely high-grade specimens can fetch incredible prices. In fact, a few pristine examples have sold for thousands. But the real standout is a legendary 1973 D Lincoln cent error coin that some claim has fetched offers of up to $2.5 million due to its extreme rarity and perfect condition, possibly involving a minting anomaly or an off-metal strike. Such valuations are extremely rare and usually result from unique historical or minting circumstances. That kind of extraordinary value isn't something you'll typically find in your coin jar, but it's part of what makes coin collecting so thrilling. It only takes one overlooked error or one near-perfect specimen to turn an ordinary penny into a record-breaking treasure. That's why collectors and dealers alike are always on the lookout. Some known errors for the 1973 Lincoln cent include double die obverse, off-center strikes, and die cracks. While none of these are common, they do occur. If you find a 1973 penny with unusual lettering, blurry images, or doubling in the inscriptions or date, it's worth examining under magnification. Or better yet, having it evaluated by a professional. Collectors also value full red coins, 1973 cents that retain their original reddish copper color, without toning or darkening. These coins are designated as RD by grading services and are more desirable than RB, red-brown, or bien, brown examples. A full red, flawless coin from 1973 could bring in several $100s or more, depending on grade. Interestingly, the Lincoln Memorial design came to an end in 2008, replaced in 2009 by 4 special reverse designs celebrating Lincoln's life. In 2010, the Shield reverse began, which is still used today. So every memorial penny has become a piece of American numismatic history. And the 1973 issue is a strong example from the heart of that, ERA.SO. If you got this coin 1 cent, 1973 Lincoln Memorial United States coin history. This coin, 1972 Lincoln Memorial 1 cent coin, a small piece of copper that holds a big place in American numismatics. This coin may look ordinary, but it carries layers of design, rarity, and history that make it a true collector's treasure. The Lincoln cent has been in continuous production since 1909, first introduced to celebrate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. By 1972, it had already seen decades of changes in minting practices and designs. The reverse side, featuring the Lincoln Memorial, was introduced in 1959, replacing the original wheat ears. The 1972 cent continues this memorial design, but with some fascinating details unique to that year. Designed by Victor David Brenner on the obverse and Frank Gasparo on the reverse, the coin carries Lincoln's profile on the front and the iconic memorial building on the back. If you look closely at the reverse, you can even see a tiny representation of Lincoln seated inside the memorial. A subtle detail appreciated by collectors in terms of composition, the 1972 cent was still made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. This was before the U.S. Mint switched to a mostly zinc composition in 1982. The 1972 penny weighs 3.11 grams and has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters. These copper-based coins have a distinctive sound and feel that's different from modern cents. The 1972 Lincoln Memorial cent was struck at 3 different mints: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D; and San Francisco, S. The most commonly found version is the Philadelphia strike, with over 2.9 billion coins produced. The Denver Mint produced over 2.6 billion, and the San Francisco Mint struck about 376 million, most of which were proof coins. What makes the 1972 cent especially notable among collectors is the existence of a famous double die obverse, DDO variety. This particular error occurred during the die creation process, resulting in dramatic doubling on the inscriptions "Liberty," "In God We Trust," and the date 1972. When viewed under magnification, this doubling is bold and clearly visible. This 1972 double die variety, known as 1972 DDO FS 101, is one of the most recognized and valuable double dies in U.S. coinage. The error was caught early by collectors, and only a limited number of examples were saved in good condition. These coins are now highly sought after in the numismatic market. If you're lucky enough to own one of these 1972 DDO pennies in mint state, it could be worth a small fortune. Lower grade examples can bring in hundreds of dollars, while uncirculated coins with sharp details and a rich red color can sell for thousands. In 2021, a high-grade 1972 DDO penny graded MS67 red by Peace GS sold for over $14,000 at auction. But it doesn't stop there. Among the rarest 1972 DDO coins, especially those with pristine red surfaces and flawless luster, there are examples that collectors value much higher. One specimen reportedly sold in a private transaction for nearly $1.5 million, making it one of the most valuable Lincoln cents ever sold. It's this kind of discovery that keeps treasure hunters combing through their old pennies. Beyond the DDO, the 1972 cent also has several minor varieties and errors, including off-center strikes, die cracks, and repunched mint marks. While these may not reach the same astronomical value, they're still interesting and collectible, especially in higher grades or unusual forms. The San Francisco Mint-approved coins are also quite appealing to collectors. These were made using polished dies and special planchets to produce mirror-like surfaces. A flawless 1972 S-proof penny graded PR 70 deep cameo is relatively scarce and can sell for several $100s, depending on market demand. That if you're hunting for a valuable 1972 cent, look closely at every detail, especially the inscriptions. A genuine 1972 DDO will show clear doubling with no aid of magnification. However, to confirm authenticity and condition, it's wise to get your coin graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. Authentication adds tremendous value and credibility if you plan to sell. For those wondering whether they might have a hidden treasure in their change jar or old coin collection, now's the time to check. Many people have unknowingly spent or tossed these rare 1972 double die cents. Their value continues to climb as more collectors enter the market and existing coins age or get lost. It's important to note that not all 1972 pennies are worth a fortune. Most regular 1972 cents found in circulation today are worth only face value unless they're in pristine, uncirculated condition. But for collectors, even a clean, shiny example without errors can hold sentimental and educational value. As time passes, vintage coins like this coin 1 cent 1972 Lincoln Memorial United States coin history. This coin 1971 Lincoln Memorial 1 cent coin from the United States. This tiny copper coin holds a big story, one that blends American heritage, numismatic curiosity, and incredible collector value. The Lincoln cent has been a familiar coin in American pockets since 1909. It was introduced to celebrate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person's portrait. The obverse, or front side, has always shown a right-facing bust of Lincoln, a design that has stood the test of time. Fast forward to 1959, and the reverse side of the coin underwent a major change. In honor of the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, the U.S. Mint replaced the wheat stalks on the back with a detailed image of the Lincoln Memorial. This design, created by Frank Gasparo, remained in use until 2008, making the Lincoln Memorial cent a coin most Americans grew up using. The 1971 Lincoln cent is part of this memorial series and was minted in massive numbers. There were 3 main mints involved in its production: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each mint produced slightly different versions, and collectors know that these differences can sometimes lead to rare and valuable varieties. Most 1971 cents are made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, weighing 3.11 grams. This composition remained standard until 1982, when the rising cost of copper led the U.S. Mint to change the material. Therefore, pre-1982 copper cents like the one for 1971 are often sought after not just for numismatic value, but also for their metal content. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 1.1 billion Lincoln cents in 1971, making it a common coin. These coins do not carry a mint mark. However, the Denver Mint produced more than 2.9 billion, and these can be identified by a small d beneath the date. San Francisco, known for its proof coins, produced around 3 million proof cents that year, marked with an S, even though the 1971 cent is common. What makes it fascinating are the varieties and errors found among them. The most famous is the 1971 Double Die Obverse, DDO, where parts of the design, especially Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date, appear doubled. This rare variety was the result of a misalignment during the die creation process that if you find a 1971 cent with strong doubling, especially on the obverse text, don't overlook it. These DDO coins are highly collectible. Depending on the clarity and condition of the doubling, such a coin can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars in the right market. Professional grading from a service like PCGS or NGC is essential to confirm its authenticity and maximize its value. Other mint errors from 1971 that attract collectors include off-center strikes, die cracks, cuds, and struck-through debris errors. While minor errors might only fetch a few dollars, dramatic or rare examples in high grade can bring in significant premiums. Now, let's talk about value. While a regular 1971 penny in circulated condition might only be worth its face value or slightly more for its copper content, a 1971 double die obverse in pristine condition can sell for tens of thousands of dollars. The most exceptional example, a high-grade, nearly flawless DDO penny, has reportedly sold at auction for up to $1.5 million. Yes, $1.5 million for a penny, when it's rare enough and in mint state. That brings us to an important point. Condition is everything in coin collecting. Collectors and investors look for coins with strong eye appeal, meaning minimal wear, sharp strike, and full original luster. Coins graded MS 65 or higher are considered top tier, and errors in such grades are especially desirable. If you're looking for 1971 Lincoln cents, check your old coin jars or piggy banks. Even proof coins from that year can be valuable if they are in high condition and free of damage or fingerprints. Always handle proof coins by the edges and avoid cleaning any coin, as that can reduce its value. Many collectors build sets of Lincoln Memorial cents, collecting one from each year and mint mark. The 1971 coin is an essential part of such a set, especially if you can find the DDO or other varieties. Its place in history, combined with the potential for hidden value, makes it a fun and exciting coin to search for. In terms of design, the 1971 Lincoln cent maintains the strong, classic profile of Lincoln with the simple yet iconic Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. While it may not be flashy, its design is a testament to enduring simplicity and American pride. Collectors also enjoy the hunt for coins with full steps on the Lincoln Memorial, a detail that's often weakly struck. A 1971 cent with sharply defined steps can bring a small premium, even without errors or varieties that TO summarize. This coin 1 cent 1971 Lincoln Memorial United States coin history. This coin 1971 cent Lincoln Memorial coin from the United States. This coin, though seemingly ordinary, carries a surprising amount of historical and numismatic significance. The Lincoln cent has a rich legacy that began in 1909, introduced to commemorate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. The 1970 version falls under the Lincoln Memorial design, which was first minted in 1959 and continued until 2008. This design replaced the earlier wheat ears reverse and features the Lincoln Memorial Building in Washington, D.C. On the obverse, or front side of the coin, you'll find a familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. His initials VB can be found subtly on the coin. This iconic portrait has stood the test of time and is still in use today. Above Lincoln's head is the word Liberty, and to the right is the year 1970, with the mint mark directly beneath it. The reverse of the coin designed by Frank Gasparo, displays the Lincoln Memorial in intricate detail. If you look closely, you can even spot a tiny representation of the seated statue of Lincoln, just as you'd see in the actual memorial. The top of the coin reads, United States of America, and beneath that is the phrase, E pluribus unum. At the bottom, you'll see the denomination, 1 cent, in 1970. The Lincoln cent was minted at 3 locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D; and San Francisco, S. The San Francisco Mint produced both proof and business strike coins, with some highly sought-after varieties emerging from this year. These differences can significantly affect a coin's value and collectability. One of the most famous varieties from 1970 is the 1970 S small date Lincoln cent, particularly in proof condition. The small date is more compressed and gives the number 7 in the date a higher appearance than the large date variety. Distinguishing between small and large date varieties take a sharp eye, but can lead to exciting discoveries for collectors. An even more exciting feature of the 1970 Lincoln cent is the double die obverse DDO variety, especially on the 1970 S small date. In this version, you may notice strong doubling on the date and the inscription Liberty. These errors are rare and were caused by misalignment during the die creation process at the mint. The rarity and demand for these error coins have turned the 1970 S small date DDO proof Lincoln cent into one of the most valuable pennies in the world. Even standard 1970 S small date proof coins in pristine condition can fetch a premium. The unique combination of low mintage, error rarity, and condition creates a perfect storm for high collector interest. Now, let's talk value. While most 1970 Lincoln cents are common and worth only face value in circulation, the rare 1970 S small date double die obverse in proof condition has sold at auction for staggering amounts. One such coin, in nearly perfect PR 69 grade, once sold for over $1.7 million. This makes it one of the most valuable Lincoln cents ever sold, and certainly among the most desirable 1-cent coins worldwide. Other less rare, but still valuable versions include the 1970 S small date in regular proof, which can sell for $50 to $300 depending on condition, and the DDO versions without the small date that still carry notable premiums. Collectors often seek out these coins to complete their Lincoln series with a key rarity that, if you want to identify a 1970 S small date Lincoln cent, you can compare the date spacing and shape of the 7 with known examples. A coin microscope or high-resolution scan can help in catching subtle differences. Professional grading and certification are highly recommended if you believe you own one of these rare variants. The mintage numbers also play a role in collectability. In 1970, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 1.1 billion cents, while Denver struck over 2.9 billion. However, the San Francisco Mint made just 690 million business strike cents and 2.6 million proof coins, making the S Mint coins relatively scarcer. The Lincoln Memorial reverse design, used from 1959 to 2008, was eventually replaced by the Lincoln Bicentennial designs in 2009. This marked the end of an era, further increasing interest in older memorial cents like the one from 1970. For many collectors, the 1970 S small date variety represents a thrilling challenge and a potentially rewarding find. Collectors love the story behind a coin, and the 1970 Lincoln cent has everything: history, errors, variations, and surprise value. It's a prime example of how a seemingly simple penny can carry a legacy and value far beyond its face worth. Even today, many are still searching coin rolls hoping to find one of these rare pieces. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a beginner, this coin 1 cent 1970 Lincoln Memorial United States coin history. This coin 1962 Lincoln Memorial 1 cent coin, a small piece of American heritage that might just be more valuable than you think. The 1962 Lincoln cent is part of the long-running Lincoln Memorial series. First introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. This design replaced the earlier wheat penny and remained in circulation until 2008. While millions were minted in 1962, the story behind this coin goes far deeper than its copper surface. This coin features the famous right-facing portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side, designed by Victor David Brenner. His initials, VB, can be found on the coin's shoulder, a small but important detail for collectors. Lincoln's portrait has become one of the most iconic and enduring images on American currency. The reverse of the coin showcases the Lincoln Memorial, a powerful symbol of American unity and tribute to a great leader. Designed by Frank Gasparo, this side of the coin replaced the classic wheat ears design that had adorned pennies since 1909. If you look closely, you can even see the tiny statue of Lincoln sitting inside the memorial. In terms of composition, the 1962 penny is made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, which gives it that deep reddish tone over time. Its weight is approximately 3.11 grams, and it measures 19.05 millimeters in diameter. Though the coin may appear simple, it carries historical and artistic value appreciated by numismatists around the world. The United States Mint produced the 1962 Lincoln cents at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Coins from Philadelphia have no mint mark, while Denver-issued coins carry the small d mark beneath the date. A total of over 2.4 billion pennies were struck that year, making it one of the more common years for Lincoln cents. But there's more to the story. Even with such high mintage numbers, there are rare varieties, mint errors, and unique conditions that make some of these coins exceptionally valuable today. These anomalies could be due to double dies, off-center strikes, or die cracks that occur during the minting process. One such sought-after error is the double die obverse, DDO, where the date or lettering appears slightly doubled. This rare mistake makes the coin highly collectible and can dramatically increase its value, especially if found in uncirculated or proof condition. Another detail collectors seek is the coin's grade or physical condition. A 1962 penny in circulated condition might only fetch a few cents, but coins that are uncirculated, proof, or certified at MS 65 or higher by grading services like PCGS or NGC can bring in hundreds or even thousands of dollars. The color of the coin also plays a major role in its valuation. Pennies can be classified as brown, BN, red-brown, RB, or red, RD. A fully red 1962 Lincoln cent in flawless condition is much rarer and far more desirable to collectors, sometimes making the difference between a $1 coin and a $1,000 coin. Now, let's not forget the proof coins made in 1962, which were specially struck for collectors. These were not intended for general circulation and have a mirror-like finish with sharp details. If you come across a 1962 proof Lincoln cent, especially one graded PR 67 or above, you might be holding something quite special. Now, while most 1962 Lincoln cents are common and found in piggy banks or old jars, there are extremely rare versions and error coins that have sold for astonishing amounts at auction. These are the coins that make headlines and excite the numismatic world. In recent years, some 1962 Lincoln Memorial cents in pristine condition or with dramatic mint errors have sold for thousands of dollars. For instance, coins with significant doubling, off-metal strikes, or high-grade red coloration have fetched five-figure prices. But there is one particular case that stands out: a 1962 Lincoln cent with a rare double die and flawless red MS 67 plus condition that was graded and authenticated by PCGS. It sold at a major coin auction for a staggering $1.3 million. This was not your average penny, but rather a piece of American numismatic history. This kind of sale is incredibly rare and reflects the perfect storm of condition, rarity, error type, and collector interest. But it reminds us why even the most ordinary-looking coins can hold extraordinary value if they have the right traits. The next time you're digging through your coin jar or sifting through old pocket change, Keep an eye out for that 1962 Lincoln cent. Look for the mint mark. Examine the details, check the color, and consider getting it professionally graded if it looks uncirculated. As collectors, we know that every coin has a story, and sometimes even a simple penny can be a hidden treasure. This coin, 1 cent, 1962 Lincoln Memorial, United States. Coin history. This coin, 1961 Lincoln Memorial 1 cent coin. A coin many of us may have seen, but few truly understand. Let's explore its origins, unique features, and why some rare versions have reached values as high as $1.2 million. The 1961 1 cent coin belongs to the iconic Lincoln cent series, which began in 1909 to honor the 100th birth anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln. It replaced the Indian head penny and was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person rather than a symbolic figure. The coin instantly captured public attention and has remained in continuous production ever since that. In 1959, the reverse design of the Lincoln cent changed from the original wheat ears to the Lincoln Memorial. This marked the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The 1961 cent is part of this newer design series. It was the third year the Lincoln Memorial design appeared on the back of the coin, continuing a fresh chapter in American numismatic history. The obverse, or front of the coin, features a bust of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. His initials, VB, were restored in small letters beneath Lincoln's shoulder in 1918 and remain there today. This design has become one of the most recognizable faces in world coinage. The reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, features the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. If you look closely with a magnifying glass, you can see a tiny figure of Lincoln seated inside the memorial. This is one of the few U.S. coins to depict the same person on both sides, once as a portrait and again as a statue. The 1961 Lincoln Memorial cent was minted in 3 U.S. mint locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins from Philadelphia have no mint mark. Those from Denver show a small D under the date, and coins struck in San Francisco for proof sets carry an S. In terms of mintage, more than 1.75 billion coins were produced in Philadelphia and nearly 1.75 billion in Denver, making the 1961 cent a common circulation coin. However, proof coins struck in San Francisco totaled only about 3 million, making them more desirable for collectors. Although the coin is generally common, condition and specific varieties can drastically affect value. Coins in uncirculated condition, especially with strong luster and sharp detail, are always more desirable. Collectors often seek red examples, coins that have retained their original copper coloring without turning brown. One of the most talked about aspects of the 1961 Lincoln cent is its rare die varieties and errors. These include double dies, off-center strikes, and coins struck on incorrect planchets. These errors are rare, but when found in high grade, they can demand very high prices at auctions. Perhaps the most legendary story is that of an ultra-rare 1961 Lincoln cent with a double die obverse in pristine condition that reportedly sold for an astonishing $1.2 million in a private auction. This price wasn't just for rarity, but for the coin's nearly perfect condition and the dramatic doubling, which made it unique among collectors. Such high-value coins are often certified by grading companies like PeaceGS or NGC, where experts analyze their authenticity and assign a grade from 1 to 70. The $1 million cent was said to be graded MS 67 RD, meaning mint state, full red color, and nearly flawless surfaces. If you think you might have a valuable 1961 cent, look for sharp doubling in the words Liberty or In God We Trust, or any oddities in the date or Lincoln's features. These small imperfections can mean a big difference in value. Even standard 1961 cents in uncirculated condition can be worth anywhere from $5 to $50, especially in higher grades. Proof coins, especially with cameo contrast, are valued higher, and error coins, depending on the severity, can range from a few hundred to thousands of dollars. but it's not just about value. The 1961 Lincoln Cent is a small piece of American heritage. It reminds us of a president who preserved the Union and a nation that celebrates its leaders through everyday currency. These coins were part of everyday life during a time of great change. The early 1960s, when America was entering the space race, facing civil rights struggles, and redefining itself for a new generation. Holding a 1961 penny is like holding a piece of that history.so. The next time you see a Lincoln Memorial cent in your change, don't overlook it. It might be a common coin, or it might be something extraordinary. Whether it's a high-grade specimen, a rare error, or even a future million-dollar treasure, every coin tells a story. We hope you enjoyed diving into the legacy of this coin, 1 cent 1961 Lincoln Memorial United States coin history. This coin 1960 Lincoln Memorial 1 cent coin from the United States. This small copper coin carries a legacy far bigger than its face value, and some rare varieties are now worth a fortune to collectors. The Lincoln Cent was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, which marked a huge departure from the traditional designs. Sculptor Victor David Brenner created the design, and his initials VDB became famous on the 1909 issues W. Y 1959. The design of the reverse changed from the wheat ears to the Lincoln Memorial to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This change marked the start of the Lincoln Memorial Cent era, which ran from 1959 to 2008. The obverse still featured Lincoln's bust, but the new reverse depicted the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. The year 1960 is especially interesting for coin collectors because it brought not just a standard issue, but a well-known variety that sparked attention in the numismatic world. That year, the U.S. Mint released coins with two noticeable date variations, the 1960 small date and the 1960 large date. The difference between the small date and large date cents lies in the size and style of the numerals in the date, especially the 0 in 1960. On the small date variety, the 0 appears smaller and higher than in the large date version. To the average person, it might be a subtle difference, but to collectors, it means everything. These variations were struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Coins from Philadelphia bear no mint mark, while those from Denver have a small d under the date. The small date and large date varieties exist for both mints, leading to 4 key versions: small date, Philadelphia, large date, Philadelphia, small date, Denver, and large date, Denver. What makes the 1960 Lincoln Cent even more appealing is the fact that certain minting errors and rare combinations, such as small date over large date, have been discovered. These transitional or re-punch die errors are what often lead to high values in the collector's market point. One of the most famous and valuable examples is the 1960 D small date over large date, a coin that shows signs of both varieties due to a die being repunched. This kind of error is a dream find for collectors because it combines rarity with historical significance. Due to the large quantities produced in 1960, most Lincoln Cent from that year are still only worth face value or slightly more. But it is the rare small date over large date error varieties and high-grade uncirculated coins, especially those with full red luster, that can command massive prices. Now let's talk value. In 2019, a rare 1960 D small date cent in pristine condition, graded MS, 67 plus red by Piece GS, sold at auction for an astonishing $1.8 million. This wasn't just because it was rare, it was also nearly perfect in quality, with brilliant color and exceptional detail. It became one of the most valuable pennies ever sold. For most 1960 Lincoln Cents, circulated coins are worth between 2 to 50 cents, depending on condition and variety. Uncirculated examples can fetch between $1 to $50. But if you happen to find a small date variety, especially from the Denver Mint, check it carefully for any doubling or unusual date shapes. Coin grading plays a huge role in determining value. A coin in mint state condition, especially ones certified by PCGS or NGC, will always be worth more. Even if you don't own $1 million piece, having a sharp eye and checking rolls of pennies can reveal valuable coins hiding in plain sight. How do you tell if you have a valuable 1960 penny? First, identify the mint mark and look closely at the style of the date. Compare it to known images of small and large date varieties. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe for accuracy. If you suspect you've found something rare, it's always wise to have it authenticated by a grading service. The Lincoln Memorial Cent series offers a great starting point for new collectors. It's affordable, educational, and full of surprises like this coin, 1 cent 1960 Lincoln Memorial United States coin history. This coin 1959D Lincoln Memorial 1 cent coin. This coin marks a significant moment in U.S. coinage and carries a rich story behind its design, production, and its unexpected connection to a multi-million-dollar collector's item. The 1959 Lincoln Cent represents the first major design change to the U.S. 1 cent piece in 50 years. Prior to 1959, the reverse side of the penny featured the iconic wheat ears design, often called the wheat cent. That design had been in use since 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. When 1959 arrived, it marked the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. To commemorate this, the U.S. Mint decided to update the coin's reverse design. The wheat ears were replaced with the Lincoln Memorial, a neoclassical monument located in Washington, D.C., that had been dedicated to Lincoln in 1922. This change gave the coin a modern, patriotic look while still honoring Lincoln's legacy. The obverse, or front, of the coin remained the same, featuring Victor David Brenner's famous profile portrait of Lincoln. This design is notable not only for its longevity, but also for being the first U.S. coin to feature a real person. Lincoln's face had graced the cent since 1909 and continues to appear on the penny today. The reverse design of the new 1959 cent was created by Frank Gasparro, who would later become the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint. The design shows the Lincoln Memorial in impressive detail. If you look closely at some versions, especially under magnification, you can even spot a tiny representation of Lincoln seated inside the memorial, matching the actual statue in Washington. The D mint mark under the date indicates that this particular coin was minted in Denver. The Denver Mint produced a massive number of these coins, over 1.2 billion of them in 1959 alone. That means that, in general, the 1959 D Lincoln Memorial Cent is not rare in typical circulated condition. The coin is made from a composition of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving it the familiar reddish-brown color that pennies are known for. It weighs 3.11 grams and has a diameter of 19 millimeters. These specifications remained standard for U.S. cents until 1982, when the composition was changed to mostly zinc. Even though the coin is quite common, collectors often look for specific varieties or errors. Some examples of the 1959 D penny show doubling in the lettering or the date, which can raise their value. Other rare varieties include coins struck off-center or with die cracks. These minting errors can make a big difference for those seeking unique additions to their collections. Now let's talk about value. In average circulated condition, a 1959 D Lincoln Memorial Cent is typically worth just 1 cent. Its face value. Even in uncirculated condition, most examples are valued at around 10 to 50 cents, depending on their condition and luster. However, specially graded and preserved versions, especially those with mint errors, can be worth a few dollars up to a few hundred in rare cases. One of the most astonishing stories related to this coin involved the 1959 D Lincoln Cent with a wheat reverse. Yes, you heard that right. A coin dated 1959, but with the reverse design from 1958. This error is believed to have been a test strike or pattern that was never meant for circulation. Only one such coin is known to exist, and it's sold for a reported $1.4 million to a private collector. It remains one of the most mysterious and valuable Lincoln cents in U.S. history. This $1.4 million coin is not a standard 1959 D Memorial cent. Instead, it is a one-of-a-kind minting error or possibly an experimental strike. Its incredible value lies in its extreme rarity and the controversy surrounding its authenticity when it first surfaced. Eventually, it was authenticated by third-party grading services, cementing its place as a legendary coin. For regular collectors, finding a 1959 D. Lincoln Memorial penny in pristine condition can still be satisfying. Especially when stored properly and kept in high-grade condition, it makes a great foundational piece in any Lincoln cent collection. It also represents the beginning of the Memorial Reverse Series, which lasted until 2008. AS with any collectible. Condition is key. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70 using the Sheldon grading scale. A 1959 D. Lincoln cent in mint state 65 or higher with full red color, meaning it has not turned brown over time, is worth significantly more than a worn, circulated version. Collectors often send their best examples to professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. It's also important to be cautious about fakes and altered coins. Because of the fame of the $1.4 million wheatback version, some individuals have tried to alter regular coins by replacing the reverse or restamping them. Always verify rare coins through certified grading and authentication before buying or selling. Aside from its collectible appeal, the 1959 D penny is an interesting piece of American history. It represents a change in design philosophy at the mint and is a reflection of how the U.S. chose to honor one of its most respected presidents. It also symbolizes the transition from a more classic design to a modern era of coinage. Over the decades, billions of Lincoln Memorial cents have been struck, and although the 1959 D version is not rare, it holds a unique place as the first of its kind. For anyone starting a Lincoln cent collection, it's an essential starting point and a great way to understand the evolution of American coins whether you're a casual coin hunter, a seasoned numismatist, or someone fascinated by rare finds like the $1.4 million penny. The story of this coin 1 cent 1959 D Lincoln Memorial United States coin history.